Are you headed to Italy this summer and panicking about what to bring and how to fit it all into one suitcase? Don't worry, I can help. I have traveled to Italy dozens of times over the past years and at all times of the year, and I've got this packing thing down to a science now. I'm leaving next week for a month in Italy, and in this video I'll show you what I'm bringing and what I'm not bringing, both in my suitcase and in my personal item. The first thing I always do is check the weather at my destination. Now, unlike other times of the year, going to Italy in the summer is pretty easy to predict what the temperature is going to be like. It's going to either be hot or hotter, sometimes up to 100 degrees or more. So what you want to do is bring very lightweight clothing. The only exception to this is if you're going to be up in the mountains where the temperatures are a little bit more moderate and there's likely to be some rain. Now, a little sidebar here. For those of you who, like me, are always cold in restaurants, stores, and movie theaters, you're probably not going to have to worry about that once you get off the plane in Italy. Because even where they have air conditioning, and that's not everywhere, they don't crank it up to those frigid temperatures like they do here in the United States. Usually they run the air conditioner just to make it a bit more bearable and cut the humidity. Now, first off, I am going to strongly encourage you to bring only a carry-on suitcase plus a personal item like a backpack or a tote. Don't freak out. I promise you'll be able to fit everything in that you need. Now, why a carry-on only? Well, there are a few reasons for that. First off, you don't want your luggage to be lost or delayed on your trip. That will really kind of put a damper on things. Second of all, even if you plan to take taxis around the cities that you're visiting, you're gonna still find that you're lugging your suitcase over uneven sidewalks that are congested and cobblestone streets and up and down tons of stairs. And then in some smaller hotels and Airbnbs, the elevators can be either tiny or frankly non-existent. So you may end up having to take your suitcases up to a higher floor. My rule of thumb is never take a suitcase that is bigger or heavier than you can manage on your own. And if you're taking trains in Italy, you should know that there's limited space for luggage storage on a train. And if you have a big suitcase, you're going to have to park it right by the door. There's a special space for it. And the issue with that is it could be stolen when the train stops in an intermediate station. So best not to have that risk. And if you rent a car, you will find that the trunks of cars in Italy, like the cars themselves, are smaller than what you're used to at home. So you can't fit a lot of luggage in. And one time we had some friends visiting us who brought large luggage against our advice. But I spent a pretty uncomfortable couple of hours with a big suitcase on my lap. So hopefully I've convinced you of the benefits of packing light. So now, how do we live for 2 weeks with just the clothes we've got in a carry-on suitcase? Versatility is the key, meaning that most of the clothes that you bring should be able to be worn for various activities, multiple ways, and multiple days. To do this, I recommend creating a small capsule wardrobe. What's that? Well, a capsule wardrobe is just a small collection of a few tops and a few bottoms that all mix and match and go together. Normally they're in just sort of a limited color palette, a lot of neutrals, and I'll show you when I talk about what I'm gonna pack, how that works. So a good rule of thumb when creating your capsule is to have 3 to 4 bottoms, so pants or skirts or shorts, what have you, and 6 to 7 tops. And what you want is for every bottom to go with at least 3 of your tops. And that way you can create a ton of outfits and never get bored of what you're wearing. So in this case, my capsule wardrobe for my trip to Italy consists of 3 pants, 1 skirt, 7 tops, a cardigan, a light jacket, a rain jacket, and of course underwear, pajamas, etc. When it comes to shoes, the most important thing is to bring at least 1 pair of good-looking and comfortable sneakers that you can wear with skirts and dresses as well as pants. Don't bring anything flimsy because you're going to be walking over uneven surfaces and cobblestones and your feet will be destroyed. And whatever you do, don't bring heels. That's just a non-starter. And even wedges can be problematic and cause twisted ankles on the cobblestones. Since shoes take up a lot of room, I'm only bringing 3 pairs. 1 pair of sneakers and 2 pairs of sandals. All of them can be worn with all of my different outfits. Because the sneakers are the bulkiest item, I'm going to wear them on the plane so I don't have to put them in my suitcase and take up space there. For my sturdy sandals, 1 pair is a Birkenstock type sandal by Cushionaire, and the other is a pair of cognac brown sandals from Vionic. I just got these recently and they are so comfortable I could walk miles in them, as I could with these. Other things I'm bringing, 1 lightweight pair of pajamas and a very lightweight packable rain jacket. Now, some people prefer to use an umbrella, and I'll link a couple of umbrellas in the description box below. I'm just not an umbrella person. I don't like having something in my hand. I always lose them. It's just not worth it to me. This has a hood on it, so I'm good to go in any rain shower. I also usually bring some Tide packets so that I can do wash in the sink if I need to. Now, we try to stay in at least 1 Airbnb in the middle of our trip for a couple of days so that we have the ability to do wash in washing machine. Usually there are no dryers in these Airbnbs. Sometimes you'll be lucky, but dryers are not as big a thing in Italy as they are in the United States. So try to stay in the Airbnb a couple of nights so you have time for things to dry when you wash them. My color palette for this trip is mostly blue, tan, and olive green. And again, everything mixes and matches together. This time, I'm not bringing jeans on my trip because it's just too hot. Instead, I'll bring these cropped navy blue linen pants from Banana Republic, as well as these linen blend wide leg jeans from Old Navy, which are on sale, by the way. I also have a skirt, and on the plane, I'll be wearing these endless high-rise pants from Athleta. They are nice and stretchy and comfortable, so they're great for wearing when you're traveling. They're super comfortable, but they also look polished if you want to wear them out to dinner. I'm bringing 7 tops, so I will have multiple options of tops to wear with each one of my bottoms. So I have this one blue and white flowered top, which will be great for dinner or anytime. I've got a navy blue tee, a white and navy striped tee, a white polo, kind of orangish Henley top, and a coral colored top. And like I said, these go with multiple bottoms, and multiple bottoms go with each of the tops. I've got a couple of dresses. This navy gauzy dress from Pact is very loose and flowy and super lightweight. So I see this as a great dress to wear during the day, and even at night. And then I've got this blue and white striped sleeveless dress, which I got from Evereve last year. And I've also got a navy blue cardigan, which I will definitely be wearing on the plane because I'm always cold, and I might be able to use it for those cooler nights. Now, here are some things I will not be bringing on my trip. First of all, I'm not bringing any white jeans or white pants or a white skirt or a white dress. Why is that? I mean, it's summer, it's hot. White is the obvious thing to wear. And normally it is, but frankly, I'm not going to have a lot of opportunities to do my laundry, and white just gets dirty too easily. Tan is much more forgiving. Fancy clothes. Unless you're going to a destination wedding or you're going to the opera or something like that, you really don't need fancy clothes at all. Nice pants and a nice top or a day dress will also work in the evening anytime for almost any situation. Leggings. Well, I'm not planning on working out other than all the walking that I'm going to be doing. So I'm not going to be bringing leggings because frankly, in Italy, women really don't wear leggings except to the gym and to work out. Now, having said that, if you are most comfortable in leggings and you love your leggings, you go ahead and wear them. You do you. Because frankly, nobody really cares what you're going to wear. The only exception to people caring what you wear is when you go into churches, you must have your shoulders and your knees covered. And to that point, I'm bringing this lightweight scarf/shawl that I can wear. If I'm wearing a tank top and I go to a church, I can always put this around me. It also gives me a little extra warmth on the airplane. I won't be bringing any flip-flops. Flip-flops in Italy are really only worn at the pool and at the beach. And also they're just way too flimsy to wear on those cobblestone streets. Your feet would be destroyed. Hair dryer. Normally I always travel with a hair dryer, and I actually own a dual voltage hair dryer that I can use in Europe, for example. But this time I'm not going to bring it because I have yet to find a place or to stay in a place that didn't provide a hair dryer. So why take up valuable room in my suitcase for that? Now, having said that, if you have a curling iron you need to travel with, or a flat iron, or some other appliance like that, be sure you bring a dual voltage version, and they're available on Amazon, because otherwise if you try to plug your American curling iron into the European outlet, it will absolutely blow up and fry it. So don't do that. If you don't buy a dual voltage appliance, then you must bring a converter to convert the voltage to the European voltage. Neck pillow for the airplane. I'm not going to bring one of those because frankly, I never fall asleep anyway on the plane, and I don't want to have to lug around one of those neck pillows all over my trip. If you really feel the need to bring a neck pillow, I'd suggest you get one of those inflatable ones that, squishes down flat when you let the air out, because it's just one other thing you won't have to carry. The final category of things I'm not bringing are those what if items. Items that I might need or might want to wear. I have found that those items are items that I don't end up using, and I don't end up wearing, and I don't end up missing them when I don't have them. And I certainly don't want to lug around a lot of stuff that I don't use. Here's the thing, you'll actually find it quite liberating to have only a few things to wear. If you plan your items carefully before your trip, you'll find that on your trip you only won't have to think about it that much, and you could focus all your time and energy on enjoying your trip, not trying to put outfits together. Now it's time to do a test pack to see if it all fits in your carry-on bag. Now, I would recommend you do this a couple of days before you leave. Don't wait till the last minute. If you do it a couple of days ahead of time, then you can see what adjustments you need to make, and you can make changes accordingly. Lay everything out on the bed and make sure that all the items that you're bringing can be worn multiple ways and multiple days. Anything that doesn't fill the bill should be reconsidered. To pack, you can either roll your clothes or you can fold your clothes, but either way, packing cubes are a real game changer. You can either use the regular ones, the plain ones, or you can use the compression ones that have sort of a double zipper and squeeze all the air out. That allows you to fit more stuff in your suitcase, but watch out, it also makes your suitcase heavier. The reason I love packing cubes is that they keep me organized, especially when I'm moving from hotel to hotel and from place to place. I like to have everything easily accessible. So what I do is I put all like items together. So in one large packing cube, I will put all of my tops. And in another large packing cube, I'll put all of my bottoms. And in a smaller one, I can put my underwear and my socks. And I put my PJs wherever there's some room. So now it's almost as if I have dresser drawers in my suitcase. If I need a top, I can get that one packing cube out and I can quickly find the thing I need and then zip it back up, and same with the bottoms. And I don't have to just rip my whole suitcase apart every time I need to find something. Okay, let's see if it all fits. So I'm trying out a new carry-on suitcase by Carl Friedrich. They gifted this to us so that we could evaluate it. I haven't traveled with it yet, so I can't give it a review, but I will say it's absolutely gorgeous quality, so I have high hopes for it. In our next video, I'll actually review it after we've had a chance to travel with it. In the meantime, if you're interested in having a look, I'll link it in the description box below. So it's all packed, everything fit, except for the things I'm bringing on my personal item. So everything fits into my suitcase and we are good to go. Now let's turn to my personal item. I like to be hands-free, so I always use a backpack instead of a tote. And I've had this one from North Face for years, and I love it because it has a pocket for my laptop. It has a different pocket for my iPad, and I tend to travel with both of them when I go away for several weeks and I'm working and editing and so forth. So the first thing I do is I put a little bag that has two pairs of underwear, a pair of socks, and a t-shirt, and I stuff this all the way down at the bottom of my backpack. And that is in case for some reason my suitcase is missing in action, I have some underwear and a shirt and a change of clothes to wear. Next, I have a bag with all my cables and chargers, as well as a plug adapter that has various ports so that I can plug all my devices in when I get to my destination. I always bring my magnetic charging station, which charges my phone, my earbuds, and my Apple Watch. I always bring my Bose noise-canceling headphones so that I don't have to listen to the plane engine noise for 9 hours straight, and I can watch movies and TV shows. I always bring at least one power bank because when you're filming a lot or using the GPS a lot, it will suck up your battery real quick. Now, one thing to be aware of is the FAA has a new rule about the size, the power level of the power bank you carry. So make sure that you look and see whether your power bank meets those restrictions before you bring it along, or it will be confiscated at TSA, and they're really apparently cracking down on this. In my personal item, I also bring a little plastic bag that has my prescription meds in it. This is important. You always want to have your prescription meds in your personal item bag, not in your carry-on bag. Because again, there's always the possibility the airline makes you check the bag. And so you want to have these with you because you don't want to be caught short if your bag gets delayed. I always pack my cardigan as well as my rain jacket in my personal item bag. And they will both keep me warm. And I put my scarf in here too, so I will not be chilly on the plane. And finally, I always travel with a crossbody bag, and I like to make sure that it will fit into my backpack, because when you're on some of the smaller, cheapo European airlines and you're really restricted on the number of things you can bring on the plane, it's good to know that you can put your purse down into your backpack and not have two items that you pay extra for. Interested in more packing tips? This video right here covers 15 common packing mistakes that people make when traveling to Italy and how to avoid them. Ciao for now.